Hi you guys, welcome back to Be the Hero. I'm Robin.
I'm Gabby.
All right, so today we're going to cover highlight at least what we covered in day 4 of our Best Life Blueprint workshop. Now, day 4 was all about breathing. And I know breathing, it's like, if you've done some breath work, maybe you've tapped into this clearing that it can do and how it can release a lot of trapped emotions. But if you've never done breath work, it's probably really hard to imagine that something as simple as inhaling and exhaling could solve almost all of your problems. If somebody had told me years ago that breathing was going to be so transformational in my own health, in my marriage, raising kids, I would be like, you are crazy. But in the past 3 years, my husband and I have transformed so many people's lives just through doing holotropic breathwork sessions. In fact, now we're to the point that almost everyone who starts with us in coaching starts at this point of doing this type of breathwork. This is a very special type of breathwork. That's not to say that just regular alternate nostril breathing or any type of belly breathing, breath of fire, isn't helpful too. That's helpful also. But this specific type of breath work that Gabby's going to describe in a second is very beneficial in releasing trapped emotion, which is really trapped energy that's being held in your cells that is keeping you stuck at a certain state of consciousness. It's hijacking your amygdala and keeping you in a certain state of fear. It's typically, people come to us and say, oh, I have anxiety. I don't know what to do about it. And we start with this and they're like, oh my goodness, my anxiety's gone. Wow.
So here's the thing. I think everyone wants something in life, but most people say they're happy. And you can have duality, but the problem is that most of us are actually not in our bodies. We're like of our bodies, but we're not in our bodies. And you think that's kind of just a small detail. Like, come on, like I don't really need to be in my body to live my life. You actually do. And more importantly, you have to be in your body to change your brain. You have to be in your body to change your feelings. We start with breathwork because so many of us, and I think for myself totally was like this, probably for you too, absolutely. Before we did breathwork or before we really committed to our mindset work to be able to change our life, I was very dissociated from my emotions. And this is huge. It's huge because you are an emotional being. Emotion, I like the way Dr. Joe Dispenza explains it, that the word emotion is energy in motion. You are an energy being. You're an energy being because your brain sends electrical, energetic signals to different areas of your brain. And believe it or not, every single time you have a thought, and you have 60 to 80,000 thoughts in a single day, one day, 60 to 80,000 thoughts, 95% of them are subconscious, so that's why you don't think you have that many thoughts in a day. But every time you have those 60,000 thoughts, that means you're having 60,000 emotional experiences in your body, because every time a thought is triggered, it's sending a signal to a different endocrine gland in your body, and you're having 60,000 emotional experiences in a day. But yet, if I asked you, oh, how are you feeling right now? You'd be like, good. And you'd probably say good almost all times of the day. Or how often do you talk to people, even people who are pretty good friends, say, how are you doing? And you just say, oh, I'm good. Maybe you'll be like, oh, this was so hard and it was so stressful. But we're not actually expressing how I feel. How do you feel? I'm kind of feeling a lot of like constriction in my heart, or I'm feeling hurt, I'm feeling betrayed, I'm feeling like I don't belong, I'm feeling like nobody cares about me, I feel like I'm not valuable, I feel like I'm not worthy, I feel like I'm not loved. That's how you're feeling, because there's a different chakra, different endocrine gland in your body that's having those emotional experiences all day long. So breathwork is extremely profound and transformational, because for the first time in your life, possibly, you might start to realize that you're an energy being, you're an emotional being. And when you feel your emotions, 2 things happen. 1, you're gonna realize all that. In day 2, we talked about the subconscious roadblocks that are standing in your way. And if you're not recognizing like what those stories are you're telling yourself, you might be so repressed to your emotional self, to your story, that you need something like breathwork to open up the floodgates. Second, you might not have clarity around day one what it is you really want. If you can't create a vision, there's a chance that you're not able to conjure an emotion for the vision that you think you probably want in your life. You go, I don't know, I think I want this, but I don't get excited about it, or like I can't get specific on it. Holotropic breathwork can also be a way to gain massive clarity on those things.
Absolutely. And it's one thing for us to feel stressed. It's normal, stressed. But it's a whole nother thing for us to be able to communicate, to identify the root of that stress, and to be able to communicate it to other people. And I think when you start working on doing breath work, it makes that whole path so much smoother, is what I find. People are very quick to realize, oh wait, I'm not just stressed, I'm scared. I'm really worried. I'm worried about my job, I'm worried about my kids, I'm worried about the decisions I'm making. And in that process of just sharing that experience, people are able to communicate. They can bring it to the surface to me or Gabby or Victor, and then go, okay, well, let's identify if that's truth. Let's think through, like, what's the likelihood of these fears? Or is it, like I said, amygdala hijack? Or is it a fear that you're just playing on repeat because you were scared as a child? Having compassion for yourself is always the starting point in the whole process, and know that, you know, what you're experiencing is pretty much what everybody is experiencing. Everybody comes and goes like, I feel like this is just me. I'm like, no, everybody, myself included, Gabby included, Victor included, we all see this pattern of all these emotions that we're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. There must be something wrong with me that I feel all these things. Gosh, and then you feel shame for like having the emotion. But by having somebody to talk to about it that's familiar with other people having the same process going on, it's actually really healing just that part, because you go like, oh, this is normal. This is okay. And having that safe space really opens the doors for you to dive actually deeper. It's really layers of an onion, because it's not like one time you just breathe one time and it's like, wow, everything's cleared. It's more of a function of just keep peeling it back little bits at a time. And it feels good, actually, even though it seems like, oh, it seems scary. It feels good to be like, what? I think for the most part, most people want to feel like they're human, because we do end up in a life where we're kind of robotic and going through the motions. And we don't, honestly, sometimes when people ask, how do you feel? You're like, oh, I have to say good, because what are you going to think of me? Or you probably don't really even care if I tell you like that I'm really feeling sad, or I'm really feeling angry, or I'm really feeling like I don't really even want to talk to you right now. So this is a great stepping stone before really getting even into like carving out what your schedule looks like and psychoanalyzing your Enneagram and getting into clarity on every single step of your path. But if we had started with day one going like, look here, we need to just breathe, just trust us on this one, you probably would have been like tuned out. But by day 4, maybe you're starting to believe us that we kind of have a clue about what this process looks like, and we're here to tell you that breathwork is a really important part of that.
Yeah, I think it is so great that the part that you said about how so many of us think that there's something wrong with us for basically having this long dramatic saga of like emotion in your life, and how you're like, this is ridiculous that I'm holding this much emotion around this one little thing that happened, whether it's like, oh, when I was 8, or when I was 14, or when I was 18, or when I was 22, or when I was 30. They're like, I can't share this because this is dramatic, this is ridiculous. But it's totally normal. It's literally your brain's mechanism for staying alive was to create this story, this ego story about how you're the victim. And it's important to know that that's normal, but it's also, just because it's normal doesn't mean it's okay to just let that system keep running. It's keeping you stuck, it's keeping you trapped, and it's keeping you feeling the way you don't want to feel. Holotropic breathwork is kind of like one part of a twofold approach that we have in Be the Hero Academy and in our coaching programs. It's all about masculine and feminine healing. Feminine is all about healing, and masculine is all about taking intentional actions and aligned goals and aligned desire with clarity about what you want. And so you have to do the breath work. You can't just sit down and write goals all day, because at some point you could probably force the reality you want to happen. But there's a good chance you will still emotionally feel the same way you do right now if you don't do the yin part, the feminine part of healing the old stories, the old emotions that you've never allowed yourself to feel. So we do that for you in all of our coaching programs, and particularly in our Be the Hero signature program. This is a 2-month-long program where you have the opportunity to not only gain clarity on all the things we talked about in day 1 through 3 and really get into a specific plan for how to make that happen and figure out what it is that you want and identify some of those roadblocks. You're also going to get the healing aspect, because the thing is, you actually can do holotropic guided with us if you sign up for the full Best Life Blueprint training. So in the full training, Robin did an amazing job of guiding you guys through a full holotropic breathwork experience. It's practically like having a one-on-one coach there to guide it for you, and you can get that totally free if you sign up for the full training. But the thing is, a lot of people will pull up a video, and if there's not someone there actually in time live watching it, are you going to stop doing the holotropic halfway through? Are you going to lose interest before you even start doing it? Are you going to feel like, well, nobody's really going to pay attention if I don't do it right now, and I can tell myself that I'll do it tomorrow. So if you're not actually doing the work, if you're not actually having external accountability, there's a chance that you're not going to actually heal. You're not going to actually go through the process of bringing the things to the surface that need to happen so that you can change your story. You got to let go of the old story to replace it with a new one.
Plus, the most important part, I guess, is what I was trying to get to, is the dialogue we have after with you. There's great, I mean, you can go in and I guide it, take you through all the prompts, and it's really insightful, but it's not necessarily healing yet, because the healing comes from the dialogue that you have with me or Gabby or Victor afterwards. That's where the healing starts beginning, because then we're processing. Otherwise, you just feel the emotion come up, and it could just exaggerate the fight, flight, or fawn, where you're the thing that got you in that emotional state and energetic state to begin with just rebuilds.
It's re-triggered without actually being released.
It's so important to do both. That's why I think holotropic breathwork is way more valuable than talk therapy. Yes, we do need to talk about this, but sometimes when you're just talking about it, you're just beating a dead horse. Like, oh, let me tell you my story again. Let me tell you my story again. Let me tell you your story again. Whereas I can take your story and acknowledge that, yeah, these emotions are there, but what are the emotions we want to implement forward? Which ones do we want to insert? Is the word
right, that's what I was just about to say. Big difference between having a coach versus a therapist. A coach gets you to where you want to be in your life. And I don't care if that means you're living in the same place, having the same job. You want to feel different. You want to feel whole, complete, joyful, ecstatic. Isn't that how you want to live your life?
Grounded. I think a lot of us really wish they could go through our life feeling just grounded on a daily basis. And that's why you can write your goals. You can say, my goal is whatever, full-time RV or change careers or do all these things. But the more important thing is to align with the energetic heart chakra passion. What is it that, like I said in yesterday's video, I was working with a couple who had traveled full-time, then didn't. And in the end, like we worked through, like we talked about all the stories and excuses, like, oh, I need this much money and I need this, or need to change careers to do that, or I need a community, or all this. But in the end, when I go, well, if money was an object, where would you go? And they're like, they told me Glenwood Springs. I'm like, how do you feel when you're there? Oh man, I just feel so alive. It's like, that's it. That's the thing you chase. There's a place, there's a thing you want, but if I said, hey, what do you want? Oh, I want to just go to Glenwood Springs, and like, it's like our brain thinks, oh no, I'm supposed to, that's not a real want. That's what it's getting at. They're thinking like, that's not a real want to just like go to Glenwood Springs. Like, what am I doing there? Am I getting a job? Am I just chilling? What do I do? And I go, oh, it doesn't matter. You're trying to answer questions that don't really matter. How do you want to feel tomorrow when you wake up? I want to feel excited. I want to feel like, where do you feel excited? Vapor caves and Glenwood Springs. And then our brains like project out, okay, but then what? Like, I don't know what then yet. Or like when we get to that point, but like go do that first thing. That's what I did for the last decade. I go do that first thing. Like, I'm going to feel so good if I blank. So I go do it. And then I get there and I'm like, all right, fulfilled. Let's go to the next thing. What now? And while I could be seen as an avoidance, it can also be giving myself permission to chase happiness, to chase passion. Like, yeah, it's crazy. But hopefully that all makes sense to you, that it's not, if your logical brain might not understand this. And through breath work, we can start talking through your intuitive brain. And your deeper wisdom wants to feel whole. It wants to be passionate about things. It wants to wake up excited. Breath work is absolutely one important step on the path to that.
So if you guys have any questions, let us know in the comments below. And if you like this video, be sure you click the like button. If you want to join holotropic breathwork and start doing it now, check out the link below and you can sign up for coaching with us to do a guided holotropic breathwork experience, or even join us inside our coaching program. If you want to try holotropic, but you're not ready to take the leap, do it inside the Best Life Blueprint training and actually do it. Jump to day 4. I don't care if you skip day 1 through 3. Start doing it by actually taking action. Go sign up for the Best Life Blueprint training. The link is right there. It'll literally take you 2 minutes to get the video pulled up and sit down and do it right now. Thank you guys for joining us in this video.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.